Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sophia. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. Thanks for clicking on my video. Today we're going to be doing a monthly reading wrap up. We'll be talking about all the books that I read in the month of March. So before this month started, I told myself I was going to read thrillers only because I noticed that it's been a really long time that I read anything thrillers. So I started off the month like that, but I soon realized that I was not, I did not have enough discipline to go through with the plan. So I eventually fell off. I wouldn't tell you when, but I eventually fell off. I read a total of 15 books this month, which is a lot for me because usually I read only 10, but I recently got into audiobooks. It's been amazing. So the first book I read was Cherish, FARAH by Bethany C. Morrow. Yes. The book follows two black kids that were adopted by two different parents. One was adopted by black parents, and the other was adopted by white parents. And the white parents ended up adoring and loving the Farah a lot, and Cherish rather a lot. And Farah was feeling left out and jealous because her own parents did not seem so enthralled with her. So that's what the story was about basically. But I DNF'd this one because at page 190 something, there was nothing thrilling about it. It was like a fantasy without an adventure. It just was there. There was nothing thrilling about it. I wasn't suspecting anybody. And I don't do shit like that. I'm a serial DNFer. I will DNF any book that just is not giving. I don't have the time for that. So I DNF'd that one. The second book I read was His Dark Reflection by Marvelous Anderson. It was an arc, and I usually go into arcs thinking it will not be so great. I'm sorry, that's just me. That's just the pessimistic side of me. But this one surprised me. It was amazing. I mean, amazing. It follows the story of a man that had a twin and he did not know he had a twin. And this twin ended up coming into his life and ruining his life. Like the drama in this book. Amazing shit. It was amazing. I cried. Yeah, because it became really, really sad at some point. I rated that 5 stars because it was amazing. The next book I read was Confessions by KANAE MINATO. This book, if you follow me on Book Talk, you know how obsessed I am with this book. I read this book and I was like, amazing shit. This book follows the story of a teacher who was bringing her child to school as a result of the fact that her child's babysitter traveled, I think, and could not babysit her as usual. So she had to start bringing her child to school. And then her child got killed by one of her classmates. Don't worry, that's not a spoiler. The story follows what she eventually did to the people that killed her child. So I love this book. The writing pattern is a bit different though, so it might throw you off in the beginning, but just like hold on to it. It's an amazing story. I rated this one 5 stars, and like I don't regret rating 5 stars. So the next book I read was My Sister the Serial Killer by Onyeko Braithwaite. I don't know if I pronounced that right. This follows the story of Ayola and her sister Korede. The story was told from Korede's perspective, which I actually like. It follows the story of Ayola, who ended up killing every single man that she was in a relationship with, and how Ayola and Korede was forced to cover up the murders for her because it's her sister now. She did not want her sister to go to jail yet. So it was an amazing story. I ended up becoming very, very pissed at Korede. Man, don't worry, when you read the book, you'll be pissed at Korede as well. I rated it 5 stars because it deserves 5 stars. It got a lot of emotions out of me. At some point I was crying, at some point I was pissed, at some point I was like, you know what, fuck these people. But it was amazing. It was amazing. The next book I read was Bring Her Back by B.A. Paris. I have read something by B.A. Paris before, and I was wowed. I was, you know, happy. You know, the Therapist is the book I was talking about. So, reading Bring Her Back, I was very, very disappointed. It started off very, very nice. It had potential, but she screwed it. She spoilt it. I talked about it in full in my weekly reading wrap-ups, because I did those. It's on my channel if you need it. Just know that I was not impressed. I rated it 2 stars. 2 stars is even me being generous. The next book I read was Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. So I was going through Netflix, because I love movies a lot. I was going through Netflix and I saw Behind Her Eyes, a series. It was a limited series, and I said, oh, let me just breeze through this. And I saw based on a book by Sarah Pinborough. I was like, whoop, hold up. It's actually a book. I could actually go read it. So I went to Libby, searched it, and I realized that I could actually borrow it too. Read this book, and it, for me, with all the books that I read, this was the best. Like, I had the best reading experience with this particular book. It was thrilling from the beginning to the end, and the end was chef's kiss, like amazing shit. You can find the video on my channel as well amongst the reading wrap-ups. I rated this 5 stars. If I could give it 10, I would. Like, that's all for thrillers. So I read some romance books because I got tired of the whole thrillers. It felt like I was about to go into a reading slump, so I had to read something light-hearted. And I went into Stay With Me by ADEBAYO. I think that's his name. I feel like I'm missing this up, so I'll put the correct one on the screen. I know I said his Dark Reflection is really, really dramatic, but this one, that book has nothing on this particular book. This is the most dramatic book I have read in my entire life, and I'm not even kidding. I'm not exaggerating. Before you get into this book, I need you to be very, very prepared. Like, very prepared, emotionally and mentally. You need to be prepared. The betrayal in this book, it will just catch you off guard, honestly. I gave it 5 stars because why the hell not? It deserves that. The next book I read was The Hookup Plan by FARAH ROCHON. I kept on seeing this book, like this series. It's part of a series. This is like the 3rd book in the series. I kept on seeing this series on my FYP, and I was like, it seems like a lot of people like it. Let me, see what's about, what the fuss is about. I did not get what the fuss is about. I did not get what the fuss is about. I ended up rating it 3 stars because it was just like the regular romance, regular enemies to lovers, and I'm like, okay, but it's a swoon-worthy story, actually. Yeah, it's just there. The next book I read was Topaz. It's a historical romance. I don't really like historical romance, but Beverly Jenkins just makes it seem easy to grasp and like effortlessly amazing. This follows the story of Kate and Dix. Kate was a young woman, a journalist, who was just trying to work and had no intentions of getting married. But Dix came in, and because she was in trouble because of what she was trying to do at the time, the story that she was trying to do at the time, Dix had to come in and save her. And Dix saved her only because her father had stolen from Dix, and the father promised Kate to Dix as payment for the debt. Yeah, don't worry, the man is the man is just something else. Kate's father was something else in this book. That is the story. It was an amazing insight. Like, if you want to know more about like the Indians and like the backstory of the black people and all the rest, not like the deep backstory of black people, just it provides some insight into what really happened, back in the day, and like, it was really amazing. I rated it 5 stars because these people took me on a journey, actually. The next book I read was actually a series, Sinful. I think it's the Mafia Misfits. Mafia Misfits. That's the name, the Mafia Misfits. And it had the Sinful Vow, Sinful Desire, Sinful Redemption, and Sinful Surrender. Out of all these books, the only one I did not rate 5 stars was Sinful Desire. I don't know, it just was not. I think it was because it was love at first sight. I know they really do understand love at first sight. I'm sorry, I just don't get it. I don't believe anybody can fall in love with someone at first sight. Love takes work. Okay, and it just, you know, it wasn't as good as the rest of them. I have three new book boyfriends. I just cannot choose between all of them. You know, it's an amazing series actually. I rated Sinful Vow 5 stars. Sinful Desire was 3 stars, 3.5 rather. Simple Redemption was 5 stars. Simple Surrender was 5 stars as well. They were amazing, like amazing shit. Like I talked about them more on my book talk account, so if you want to check that out, you can just do that. There's a link in my description. The next book or next set of books I read is the Cat and Mouse duet, the Hunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. This follows the story of Adeline that was being stalked. You know, she had a stalker and ended up falling for the stalker. And the story was mostly about um, the eventual effect of falling for a stalker, like what it cost her, rather not really an effect, but like what it cost her. You know, what actually happened after she, you know, fell in love. Before she fell in love, what happened after she fell in love? You know, it was an amazing story. It's dark romance, mind you. So you don't go into it feeling like it's just normal romance, like normal contemporary romance. It's not. It's dark romance. So there's a lot of red flags. But like, if you're not a dark romance girly, please avoid it. I don't need you to come up and be like all those people on TikTok that will go and read a dark romance book and come back and come and tell us how dark it was and how they did not like how dark it was and all. Let's just forget that. Okay. I rated both of them 5 stars because it's like, you know, whew, amazing shit. So that's all the books I read in the month of March. Thanks for sticking with me through this video. Even me that I'm filming this video, I feel like it's way too long. Thanks for sticking with me through this video. I hope I see you next time.